whole second chapter if possible. For now, today I'll just explain things in a conversational format, just by myself. So the last section, 53rd verse, Krishna ended the conversation saying, if you work with detachment, you will achieve divine consciousness. You will become a yogi. You will develop transcendental consciousness. So Arjuna is thinking, oh, I don't want to fight. And it sounds like a yogi or a spiritual person does not need to fight. And his consciousness is different. So it would be a nice excuse to avoid the fight if he understands what is the nature of a yogi. He can tell Krishna, oh, the nature of yogi is non-violent. So I want to be a yogi, so I don't want to fight. So he's looking for justification. And Krishna, in the previous verses 49, he said, avoid all kinds of abominable work. What he meant was, avoid work based on fear and desire. That's what he meant. But Krishna, Arjuna is having his own internal motive. So he does not want to fight. So he sees everything through that angle. So he's thinking, oh, killing my relatives is an abominable action. So I will not do that. Why should I? So in this way, Arjuna is confused because he is hearing what he wants to hear. Have you experienced in life? You don't want to go to school and your parents are convincing you, but you hear what is suitable for you. You keep giving justification. You turn the arguments again, you turn it around towards whatever they say and make an excuse out of that very argument to prove that why you don't need to go to school or why you're sick or anything. So here Arjuna is behaving like a kid. He does not want to fight. So he's pulling out points from Krishna's arguments and trying to justify that how he should avoid fighting. So that is why he asked this question. What is the symptom of a yogi? So his idea is, Krishna will tell, he is very equipoised, he does not kill anyone, he is very peaceful. So I will use that argument for my favor and say, oh, see, I want to be a yogi and a yogi does not kill, so I will not kill. So that is his internal motive. But his external question is, oh, Krishna, please explain to me, what is the symptom of a person in divine consciousness? What does a yogi do? How does a yogi speak? How does a yogi act or behave? So Krishna says, a yogi does not have selfish desires. So these are the 4 things that Krishna will be discussing. So general characteristics of a yogi. How does he speak? Basically, how does he react to good and bad in life? Right? And how does he restrain his senses? And how does he respond to sense objects? It's figuratively speaking, sitting and walking, but the internal meaning is, how does he react to all the good and bad that happens to him in life? No, like one day we want to go out or have an ice cream, but we might fall sick. So how do we react? We want to go out on a what do you call, like a picnic or something, and it's raining. So how do you react to that? Those things which is out of our control, which we perceive as good or bad, because for us raining may be bad, but for someone who's doing agriculture farming, for them raining may be good. So how do we see things from our own perspective as good and bad, and how do we react to those things? That Krishna will explain here. Any questions, thoughts, reflections? Because I know it's a very heavy section. If any thoughts, reflections, questions? Okay, I see people also trickling in, and we are here in the exact section that we left last week. And since Arjuna now asked the question, What is the general characteristics of a yogi? How does he speak? How does he sit? And how does he walk? So let's start discussing it, because we are hardly left with 30 minutes. So Krishna says, how does he actually handle life's ups and downs? Basically, he is not disturbed. His mind is equanimous. He does not become overly happy. He does not become overly dejected. So anything may happen. He kind of deals with it with an equanimity of mind. He's not overly disturbed. He does not become too disturbed with something. So that is how he deals with the good and bad that he encounters in life. This is the consciousness of a yogi. His mind is not disturbed easily. He kind of approaches things with a level-headed or a cool-headed person. And the other question is, how does a yogi control their senses? He says, like, Krishna gives the example of a tortoise. How many of you have seen a tortoise in real life? Yes, Anish, Nanda have seen. Harshal. What is the what is the what do you call unique behavior of tortoise?
They move slowly.
It moves slowly. That's apt. Yes, that's true too. What is another feature of the
If it
tortoise? How does it
if some
react to things?
if someone like touches it, it will just like show itself.
Sorry, Chakresh, I'm not able to hear you clearly.
So if something tries to touch it, it
Okay.
will be like very scared and will be kind of careful. But if
And
they're used to it,
it'll actually withdraw, right? It'll go into the shell,
yeah,
right?
yeah, like
So
yeah,
that
it will just
exactly
like
that. Yes, thank you, Chakresh. That's what here Krishna is explaining. So, like a tortoise, it brings its limbs outside when it needs to deal with the world, and it takes it inside when it does not want to deal with the world. Similarly, the yogi has control of his mind and the senses. He deals with the world if he wants to, and he's active, and he does what is necessary. When it is not required, he is not disturbed by anything external. He has his own internal consciousness. So, as if a tortoise brings its limbs inside, similarly, this yogi can be undisturbed, whatever may be going around them. And and then Arjuna asked this question, like, is it easy? Is it easy to control the senses? Krishna says it's not very easy, but by experiencing a higher taste, you can conquer the lower taste. What do you mean by higher taste? Internal happiness. If you experience internal happiness by practicing bhakti, then we can overcome the desires for lower things. And Arjuna also wonders, are the senses really that powerful? They are really powerful. So Krishna says, yes, they are very strong. And even if a person is very smart and discriminating and intelligent, they can be overcome by the senses very easily. Suddenly they can become angry. Suddenly they can become moody. Even a very person who's like very sharp and alert, they can be sometimes overcome by these qualities very easily. They may be usually very sober, but suddenly they can become angry. They may cry. They may be affected because the senses are really powerful. It's not very easy to keep them steadily controlled. So then the question is, Arjuna's natural internal question is, okay, how do I keep my intelligence steady? So he says, if you want to keep your intelligence steady, Krishna says, you learn to fix your consciousness upon me. He says, anyone who learns to fix their consciousness on Krishna regularly, they can develop steady intelligence. If you have this question, how do I develop a steady intelligence? That is possible through fixing our minds on Krishna. How do we easily fix our mind on Krishna on a daily basis? Prabhupada gave us this easy way. You chanting Hare Krishna is an easy way of meditating on the sound, fixing it on Krishna. So that gradually makes us more and more intelligent. And also, how does this person, this yogi, uh, how is he affected or unaffected? So Krishna says, okay, if you don't focus your intelligence on me, then you focus it on so many other things and they disturb you. And I may look at something and I may think, oh, let me get the latest iPhone. Even though I have a very good functioning, working iPhone, I may be just casually watching things and suddenly the ad might um, kind of inspire me. Oh, let me get a new iPhone. There is no need. Currently I'm having an it's not I have, I'm just saying by like as a case, I might have the latest 14 Pro. I don't does not need to buy the 15. But what happens all over the city? You're seeing what do you call snaptacular, something like that. The new ad for the iPhone 15 is, it's not spectacular, it is snaptacular. So it has a better camera. So you're going for Rath Yatra, but you're looking at all these ads around in the city, all the latest ads for iPhone 15, and then you're thinking, oh, let me get the iPhone 15. So you don't need it, but because you looked at it, you become so desirous and you become so fixed up. So you throw tantrums to your parents. Oh, we want to get the latest iPhone. We need the latest iPhone. You don't need it, but because you focused on it, you become attached to that desire, or the latest video game or Xbox or whatever you call it. You may have what you need, but suddenly you develop a desire and you become attached to it, and then you become very fixed. I need this. We don't need it, but the mind makes us believe that we really need it to be happy. And what happens after you get the iPhone 15? You look at it for a while and then you go to sleep. It's not very different from the current phone that you have. It's not going to make us happy, but the mind convinces us, oh, my friend has this latest gadget, so I need to get it. My friend has this latest dress, I need to get this. So we have all these desires coming up, and because we become fixed upon, they actually bewilder us. And that is what Krishna is saying here in the verse 61, that by focusing on those things, we develop desire, and the desire actually becomes lust. And when someone does not fulfill our desire, your parents say, oh, you don't need it, so you become angry, you throw tantrums, you say, I will not eat, or you cry. We do all these things because we have developed a strong desire we don't want to listen to. So that's what Krishna is saying. By intense desire, and it is not fulfilled, it turns into anger. And from anger, what happens? We become completely bewildered. We don't understand what is right, what is wrong, and we just become completely lost intellectually. So that's what Krishna is saying. That is the danger of becoming uh, like carelessly desiring things and not keeping the mind under control. And he says such a person cannot be peaceful. So if you want to be peaceful, then you need to control your mind with the intelligence. And how to make the intelligence strong? Fix it on Krishna. Learn to connect with Krishna through devotional things, listening these things from the Bhagavad Gita, chanting Hare Krishna, and associating with other people who are trying to control the mind. The world is saying no need to control the mind, but Gita is saying learn to control the mind, then you can become happy. Who are we going to choose to listen to? The world is saying, oh, just do, don't think. But Gita is teaching us, first ask why to do this, then you can do it. So ask first, act later. So this is what the Gita is teaching. The world is teaching, oh, don't think, just do it. But who are we choosing to listen to? Are we choosing to listen to Gita, or are we choosing to listen to some advertisement which is there for the sake of making profit? So Nike may say, just do it. That's how you will get many shoes, even if you don't want. Just do it. But the idea is, human beings, we need to think before we do things. So we need to control the mind with strong intelligence and nourish the intelligence through bhakti. And that is how it is important to control the senses. Otherwise, they'll just distract us with unnecessary things. And one last thing Krishna says is, only this person who controls the mind it will be peaceful. And only this person who is peaceful can actually achieve the ultimate perfection. So with that, he completes this chapter. So overall, Krishna is saying, control your mind with your intelligence, understand what is your duty, and act with intelligence. So we already saw this character analysis. Arjuna is so eager to know about transcendence. Why? Because he wants to find some excuses to avoid fighting. That is his internal mood. And one of the important lessons that Krishna imparts in this section is connect to Krishna, because if you connect to Krishna, that connection will strengthen our intelligence, will make us peaceful, and eventually make us happy. In this world, everybody is pursuing happiness. Instead of pursuing God, everybody is trying to pursue happiness. However, if you pursue God, happiness will find you deep in your soul, not in the externals, but deep within you, you will experience happiness if you pursue God. So that's why this scholar says, let happiness find you. You don't run behind happiness. Let happiness come behind you. And for that, we need to pursue Krishna. And naturally, happiness will come behind us. And one of the important lessons that we can learn from this section is a real life challenge that we all face. Everyone, young, old, middle-aged, students, working professionals, spiritual practitioners, non-spiritual practitioners, everybody struggles with with the problem of addiction in the modern age. So the latest research shows that over 75% of individuals who use a smartphone suffer from gadget addiction. They're not just using a phone, the phone is using them. So it's a latest research that 75% of the individuals, be it children, be it elders, everyone who has a smartphone, 75% of the smartphone users are literally on the like what you call mobile addiction or digital addiction, we call it. It's a real thing. We all think, oh, I'm not an addicted person, but we all like compulsively work. What is a sign of digital addiction? If you were supposed to study, work, or do something productive, but you avoided it to indulge yourself in your phone for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and not doing your studies or not doing your work or not doing your actual thing that you have to, you neglect that and you engage in your phone for a long time. And if it is a continuous behavior, if you do this regularly, if it is a daily thing, that is sign that there is some level of addiction happening here. So we end up wasting a lot of time, resources, energy, and then we are left with less time for the real things that we have to do. So in addiction in general is three types. One is the digital addiction, behavioral addiction, and substance addiction. We all know substance addiction. It is to be it simple things or be it like very serious substances like drugs. These addictions destroy a person's life. And behavioral addiction is also another kind of addiction that people, to some extent, digital addiction comes under behavior. But since it's a very important thing, I put it separately, I would say. So there is this saying which says, people like to master others. People like to lord over others, control others. But controlling oneself is true power. Yes, Chakresh.
What is the difference between behavioral addiction and everything else?
Okay. Behavioral addiction is basically, I would say, is a repeated behavior. Say, for example, you don't want to play the, games. Say, for example, you're like playing some Xbox or video game. You don't want to play, but you feel compelled to do it. You feel like you don't want it. I have to study now. I have something very important to do, some school work, or we have to go out and you could go out and play with your friends, or you could spend time with your parents or family. You could utilize the time in some other way. You could do an exercise, you could do some other thing. You could be doing your chanting, or you could be going to a temple. You could utilize the time in some other way, and you know that is the right thing to do, but still you feel very compelled to maybe play games, or just yeah, something like that. So that is a behavioral addiction. You want to control it, but you somehow feel pulled to it. But when the same behavior is in relation to some kind of a like people, there are people who smoke, there are people who drink, there are people who take drugs. Those things destroy their lives because they lose control, and they spoil their health, they spoil their money, they spoil their relationships. And that's why you see so many people in the New York City, as a lot of homelessness is due to drug addiction. Have you ever seen a homeless person in the New York City? If you are a regular traveler to the city, you see so many people, very good health, built, proper, like grown-up adults, but they're behaving like completely they have lost their mind because of substance abuse, because of drug addiction, or some kind of substance abuse. So that can completely destroy a person's life, put them out of, make them homeless. Eventually they lose their mental balance, they become mentally ill. That leads to depression. So many problems comes because of addiction. And that's what Krishna is telling us in this section of the Bhagavad Gita, that without controlling the mind, it's very dangerous in this world. Because many things can actually distract us. It could be a simple cigarette, or it could be a simple mobile phone. These things can actually make us completely caught up internally, and can take us on a loop, and actually destroy our lives. So that is why we need to have the mind control. We need our intelligence, strengthened intelligence, through connection with Krishna. So our connection with Krishna can give us better intelligence, and we could control our be able to control our minds better. So we are not falling for things which are unhealthy, because it is said addiction is an abductor. You know what is an abductor? People who actually kidnap for ransom. So addiction, this behavior, is like an abductor who extorts ever increasing ransom but never releases you. It never releases you. Today it says, okay, let's play for half hour, tomorrow for 1 hour. You may try to, but it will never release you. It will only ask you for ever increasing ransom. And also addiction makes us crave for the things we don't even like. Sometimes we just hate the game, but we still are forced to play. Sometimes we just hate the show on TV, but we just sit and watch it because we don't know what else to do. So we engage in so many behaviors we don't even sometimes like. We want to give it up. We understand that it is not healthy for us, but still addiction is that thing which makes us forcibly do it. And all this is because why? We want to be happy. All this we do because we want to be happy. But Krishna says, if you want to be happy, first be peaceful. And to be peaceful, connect with your intelligence to me. So if you fix your intelligence, you will be on Krishna, we will become peaceful. And after we are peaceful, we can become, there is a chance that to become happy. People who are not peaceful cannot be happy. Say, for example, you're going out on a Broadway show. That's your favorite Broadway show. You're there with your family. The show is about to begin, and you're all so excited. And suddenly there is a like a commotion, that there is a bomb here in the theater. What happens? People cannot be peaceful. They will all be running here and there, and there will be complete chaos. So you cannot become happy when things are chaotic in your life, when your mind is chaotic, when your mind is not peaceful. Only when the mind is peaceful, then you can actually become happy. You go for a vacation, you go to Niagara Falls, and there you're just disturbed with your sibling, or you're just unhappy that you didn't get the breakfast that you wanted. Then you cannot actually enjoy. You're sitting in the what do you call what is that boat name in Niagara that takes you through the in between? I'm forgetting. Mist.
Maid of the Mist.
Maid of the mist. So you're sitting on the maid of the mist, but your mind is disturbed because you're angry with your brother, or you're just pissed with your parents because they didn't give you what you wanted, or you woke up early, something like that. Your mind is disturbed. You cannot enjoy the best of the scenes that you could in this world. That water falling is one of the best natural scenes that you could enjoy. But even if you are there, right in the at that spot where you could enjoy a spectacular view of the horse shoe, something like that. So still, your mind is disturbed. You cannot actually enjoy it. So that is why if you want to be happy, first your mind should be peaceful and settled. So that's why Krishna is saying, it is difficult to find happiness within oneself. It's not easy to control the mind, but it is impossible to find it anywhere else. Things cannot make us happy. So these are the last quotes that we'll be ending the class with. That sense enjoyment, in general, our endeavor for happiness begins with the hope that something out there can instantly fill me inside and make me happy. This ice cream, this movie, or this music, or this person, we think these external things can actually make us happy, and we relentlessly pursue them thinking they will fill us in and they will make us happy. But the reality is nothing external can make us happy. Happiness is inside. We need to connect with Krishna internally to make our intelligence and mind peaceful and steady, and then happiness will come. And it is said, a long life is a curse if one has a short temper. If you're having a short temper, maybe you have a long life, but because of the short temper, anger, we are continuously not peaceful. We are continuously agitated. So that makes our life difficult, and it makes others' life around us also difficult. So it is better to learn to control our senses. That way we can be happy, we can be peaceful, and we can make others around us also happy if we have a controlled mind, if we have a matured mind. So this is the lesson that we could take from this section of the Bhagavad Gita. So summing up, wrapping up this whole chapter, Arjuna was confused. So what did he do when he was confused? What did Arjuna do to solve his confusion? Anyone? Yes, Gokul.
He surrenders to Krishna and accepts him as his guru.
Yes. Here, turning for guidance is what Arjuna is showing us. If you are confused, you don't know what to do in life, turn to someone who can guide you. Take some help. And it is best if the person is a spiritual person and understands the goal of life and value of life. So turn to such a person who can guide us. So accept guidance if you are confused. And that is what Arjuna is showing here. He turns to Krishna and says, I will be your disciple. We are friends, but I'll be your disciple from now on. Please accept me as your disciple. Please instruct me what is the right thing to do. So he first of all accepts spiritual guidance. And what is the first thing Krishna teaches? What is the first thing that Krishna teaches Arjuna? Anyone? Yes?
You're not the,
The soul.
body. You're the soul.
Soul, yes, Varit and Mahidhar. You both are saying the same thing in different ways. Like, yes, Krishna is saying you are the spirit soul, and Krishna is also saying you're not this body. So that is one important knowledge that Krishna gives to Arjuna. Why Krishna is speaking about the soul? Because if I think I'm Indian, then I have certain duties. If I think I'm American, I think I have some other duty. So in this way, our identities define a duty. So that is why Krishna is first clarifying your main identity is you are a spirit soul. Yeah, you are a warrior, you are a famous warrior, you are a man, you belong to the family of Kurus, you are a grandson of Bhishma, you are a student of Drona, you are a friend of so many others. So these are all identities, but they're all related to the body. But the main identity is this identity of the soul. So he gives this knowledge. This is called as Sambandha Gyan, relationship, knowledge about the relationship of the soul with the Supreme Lord. So he gives that understanding called Sambandha Gyan. Then Krishna speaks about, now that you know who you are, what are you going to do? Go to bed, sleep? No, you will do something. You think, oh, I'm a student. Then what is the duty of a student? Playing games,
To go to school?
to go to school,
To learn.
basically to acquire knowledge, right? That is the duty of a student. How each one does it could be different in their lives, but the main duty of a student is acquire knowledge. So here, if we understand we are soul, soul is always active. Soul is always active. So that means it needs to do something. What it can do? So engage in proper activities, proper duties. So you can do it out of fear or desire, or you could do it out of duty and love. So these are the two sections that Krishna spoke. If you cannot do it with duty and love, at least do out of fear and desire, but do the right thing. Maybe you have a lower desire, but do the right thing. And eventually learn to actually do the right thing for the right reasons. So initially we may be doing the right thing for wrong reasons, but eventually we will grow to do the right thing for right reasons. And what does it lead to? When you learn to do the right thing for right reasons, when you engage in your duties with the detachment, it produces knowledge and it gives perfection. So that's what Krishna spoke in the last section. What is perfection? To become happy. Perfection of life is to be happy and to be connected. And that's only possible when you're connected with Krishna. Your mind will be peaceful, your intelligence will be steady, you will have wisdom, and you will be happy in this life and in the next life. So that is called as perfection, or prayojana gyan, perfection through practice of this knowledge of the soul and how to work on that platform with detachment from results. So I know it's a lot philosophically. This chapter is one of the heaviest chapters. Once we cross through this, the rest of the chapters are going to be much more light and easy to grasp, because we have covered all the basics here. So the rest of the chapters are going to be reiteration of the same principle in slight extra details. That's all.